Welcome back to the last episode here of this series on gears and designing with gears. And I just wanted to show you my makeshift car here. And there's nothing special about this. Just illustrates two components of a car that involve gears. Here is a rack and pinion steering system. We already went over that. And back here is a new concept. It's a differential. Now I have my drive shaft coming off the side, and that's just so I can turn the wheels and show it without having to reach in here and do that. So a differential consists of your driving gear, and normally this just will go down the center of the car. And then I have, drives this case. Then I have three mitered gears, and each one is attached to an axle. And then this one is attached to the case. So how this works is, as I turn this, all right, I'm going to drag it across here. All right, and the two tires are spinning at the same rate, so you can see that this middle miter gear, it's just along for the ride. It's actually what's making the car go forward. If we didn't have it there, the two axles will just spin and whatever else. But that pinion is actually making the car move, even though it's not turning, which is, it's kind of cool actually in my book. Makes you think about, you know, who thought this up, and hope they got paid a lot of money for doing that. All right, so that's what's going on. So why have this in the first place? Why don't I just direct drive it? And the answer is quite simple. What happens when I go around a curve? If we have a solid axle, what happens is I start skidding as I go around every curve, because the tighter the curve, the more that this tire has to move more number of times than this one. I don't want to be skidding. I don't want to be wearing out my tire every time I go around the curve. So what they've done is allowed it to turn. So if I do this, you can kind of see it moving there, but I'm going to do something a little bit more evident here, and I'm going to replace the tire sizes. So I'm putting this giant tire on one side, and this will simulate a right-hand turn, and a small tire on that side. And I'm actually going to put this axle in, because I actually don't even need it for this example. So you can see my shaft spinning here, and now you can see this moving. All right, you can see it moving. It's kind of cool as it goes around, because it gets one of those 3D cool effects, but you can see it spinning around, and that's allowing us to go around corners without skidding. Now obviously this one's moving several times faster than this one. All right, so let's switch back, and we'll make that practical to something just about every one of us have done, where we get stuck in the mud. All right, now when we get stuck in the mud, we're going to see that, excuse me. Problem with Legos is they're always falling apart, and then you gotta force them back together. They're still cool. I love them. All right, is what happens when I get stuck in the mud, and I'm gonna simulate holding this wheel and turning this one up. I'll hold this one and turn this one. Now I'm putting some speed into this one, but it seems like I'm getting a whole lot more out of this one. And that's the truth. You're going to get twice as much on the output as you are on the input. And that's true. So what's happening is you're forcing this to rotate. All right, that's what you're inputting. And this gear is now stationary. It's stuck in the mud. That axle ain't going nowhere. All right, so you got the speed of this inputted here, but because of the pinion, you actually get twice the speed over here. That's what's driving. It's like a car wheel. When I'm going here, my axle is moving at the speed of my car. But the top of the tire is actually going twice as fast towards the front to chase around and get back to making contact with the road. So that's exactly what's happening here. Same effect. So we are getting, assuming that these two pinions are the same size, which in this application, why wouldn't they be? You're getting twice the speed out. And that's pretty cool. I mean, sucks when you get stuck in the mud, but I will give you this advice. If you get stuck in the mud, Don't hammer on this, you're just digging a hole. All right, all that's happening is you're spinning this tire twice as fast. It's not gripping anything. It's not gonna grip anything. So as soon as you get a little bit in there, don't really try to rock it back and forth. You're kind of stuck. And definitely just ease on the gas. Anyway, tangent aside. All right, so the last thing I want to cover here is the notion of a limited slip differential. And these are great for off-road trucks and stuff like that. I had the privilege of making a redesign kit for an off-road small industrial truck used for off-highway activities, usually around plants and stuff like this. But they had a four-wheel drive vehicle that they wanted to add a limited slip differential to. And the key to that is in this pinion gear right here. Now, if you remember, we're going on flat ground and it did not spin. So the key here is we don't want it to spin. So what we did was we added a series of brakes and then clutches in between them so that they would mingle together like this. So your clutch pads would go through the brake fingers and actually the dart discs all the way around. And then there'd be a spring compressing them. So that spring would push here and it'd just push against the housing so that it made that pinion not want to spin at all. And we were actually able to get it so that I think we got 125 foot-pounds you could apply to the wheel over here before this one spun. And we were holding, obviously, the brake on. So we were doing this. And we knew that as soon as it spun, we had violated that. So 125 foot-pounds on a tire, that's actually pretty good. And we were able to retrofit a whole kit. So you could actually take your truck, drop the axle, disassemble the gear housing. We had it so that it bolted on with essentially 4 bolts. So you'd have to drill and tap those into the gearbox and then add a bunch of parts with some springs and then put it back together, and voila, there you had it. So really cool. Hey, listen, I'm glad you watched this, and I hope that you learned something. I hope it was very beneficial and that you're able to design something from this in the future. Thanks for watching.